Once you are happy with how your project is sounding, it is time to get ready to bounce your project. Bouncing your project basically means that you are going to export your session as an audio file. You can then burn a CD with the audio file, or use the audio file to deliver your song to iTunes or other distribution channels. Before we go any further, we should check the loudest parts of the song and make sure that it doesn't clip on the meter of the master fader. Looks great. Next, you may want to use some sort of limiter plugin to increase the volume and add any dithering to your audio. Dither should be used anytime you are moving from a 24-bit session to a 16-bit file, which is likely the format you will deliver. Dither is a very quiet, pleasing noise that hides any digital distortion that occurs from converting to a lower bit depth. Maxim is a limiter that comes with Pro Tools. Like many final mastering plugins, it includes dithering. Any plugin that has dithering and limiting should be the last plugin of any inserts on your master fader. You will find Maxim under Multi-Channel Plugin, Dynamics, Maxim. Before I explain Maxim, let's cover some basics about limiting. If you want to make audio louder, you can increase the gain of the audio. However, you can only turn it up so far until the peaks of the audio will clip, causing distortion. To increase loudness beyond this point, it is common to use limiting. Limiting reduces the loudest peaks of the audio so that you can turn up the level even more without clipping. Therefore, you can get a much louder volume. You can increase the volume of your project by applying limiting with Maxim. The threshold slider will reduce the audio peaks while also increasing the volume. This histogram area will show you where the majority of the peaks in your audio are. Play back the loudest section of your song. You can see how the histogram shows where the majority of the peaks are located. Since there are less peaks in this general area, it is best to set the threshold where the limiter will catch fewer peaks so that we don't overprocess the audio. At this point, I recommend linking these two sliders so that as you apply limiting by bringing down the threshold, the ceiling will also bring down the volume so that the audio stays at a consistent level. This way, you can hear exactly what the limiting is doing to the audio without falling into the trap of thinking it sounds better just because the audio is getting louder. The lower you bring down the threshold, the louder you will be able to make your song. However, you will reach a point where getting more volume is at the expense of quality. Most commercial material is heavily compressed and limited. However, most of the time, they have been compressed and limited with better limiters and compressors and by mastering engineers that can preserve a lot more of the quality. So, my advice at this point would be to not try to get the same volume as commercial mixes. Once you find where you would like the threshold, unlink the faders, and I recommend increasing the ceiling fader up to -0.3. This will give just a little extra headroom in case Maxim doesn't catch a peak somewhere. The dither section here just needs to be turned on, and if you are bouncing to CD quality or a compressed format such as MP3, you should choose 16-bit. Noise shaping turned on is great. Now that the limiter is set for your project, select the length of your project across any track in your session. It doesn't matter what track you select, as the bounce will include anything that is routed to a specified output. Now choose File, Bounce, to Disk. Make sure your bounce source is your main output found on your master fader. Choose the file type. If you want CD quality, it is great to choose Wave. Choose stereo interleaved for your format, bit depth at 16-bit, and sample rate at 44.1. Next, you will need to choose the directory where you would like to save the file. If you are in Pro Tools 11 or later, you can render the bounce faster than real time by checking the offline box. Pro Tools 11 also allows you to create an MP3 along with your other format type if you would like. Once the settings are ready to go, click Bounce. If you have chosen to create an MP3, you will be asked to enter any ID3 tag information if you would like to include any information with the MP3. You can choose what MP3 bit rate you would like, as well as the speed you would like to encode the MP3. Press OK when you're happy with the settings. The song will now play and create the file in the folders you specified. Thank you for completing the Learn Pro Tools Basic course with me. I hope you found the information in these videos helpful and that you feel like you have a much better grasp on Pro Tools. If you found these helpful, please like and subscribe to my channel. I will have Pro Tools Intermediate courses available for purchase soon. These courses will allow you to dive deeper into Pro Tools by covering topics such as quantizing audio and MIDI, how to record multiple takes, how to organize your session with colors, creating and using groups, several ways of looping audio and MIDI, zoom toggle, creating separate headphone mixes, and much more. For now, feel free to check out my other Pro Tools Quick Tips videos for helpful tips in working on your projects.